On TVS, we join David Bobin for international grass track racing.
Wigg, the blue-eyed boy of British Speedway, and the favourite for this coveted title. But this week he must take on Karl Maier, the world long track champion, in a head-to-head clash.
I win this year and last year many grass track meetings. I win this year, I think, 15 grass track meetings in Germany, so I feel me very good.
You feel happy on grass then?
More happy than on Speedway.
Another big name on the Ace of Aces bandwagon is Denmark's Hans Neilsen, former world speedway champion. He enjoys this type of event.
Well, it is very unique, especially with the fun fair and everything here. It's a family day out, the weather is beautiful, and it's a family sport, and I just hope there'll be a lot of people here to watch it.
Back in the pits, those unsung heroes, the mechanics, going through the last-minute fine-tuning that may be the difference between success and failure in such an even contest. The solos and sidecars will each race 4 times to produce the qualifiers for the finals, so every point is vital. Before the serious business, a flying lap contest to get the top riders and the crowd warmed up. This is Andy Smith. He's seen Maier, Wigg and Morton set a blistering pace. But he beats the lot to lap in 20.65 seconds. But on now with the main event, and our commentator is Barry Nutley.
Coming to the line for the opening race of the 1988 Race of Aces, the man very much in form, number 1 Steve Schofield, the man to watch. Another bombshell from Germany, number 5 Uwe Gessner, young, dynamic, the hottest property around on the continent. Star-studded lineup for race 1 of the 1988 Ace of Aces grass track. And setting the scene perfectly, Martin Hagen, number 20, as the rest of the pack drift wide. Martin Hagen in those distinctive pink and lime green riding leathers, now down to second place. Steve Schofield, of course, number 1 on the plate, last year's winner. 4 Ace of Aces titles under his belt, now in the lead from Martin Hagen. But Hagen trying again, taking the long way round. Steve Schofield, 5'3" of him, Poole Speedway. 4 Ace of Aces titles, qualifier for the World Long Track Final. Steve Schofield, 1988 British Master, desperate to make 5 Ace of Aces his, but Hagen coming back at him. 2 laps to go. Martin Hagen still trying hard at Steve Schofield, but Schofield leads. Hagen in second. Hasn't given up, the bit well and truly between Martin Hagen's teeth. From Leighton and East London, the last lap flag is out on their last lap. Steve Schofield, some 8-10 machines lengths clear. Martin Hagen, the machine, bucking as he goes round up the hill for the last time, coming into the final turn. Steve Schofield from Poole, from Mitcham in Surrey, Poole Speedway, coming out of the turn. The checkered flag is ready. Steve Schofield gets the win. Martin Hagen in second place. Over the line in third, number 17, Chris Morton.
First blood to number 1, Steve Schofield. A 5th win here, obviously his aim. And a clash of the giants, Maier against Neilsen. Maier's raced here before.
Yes, it was 1986, but I had on this race only the 5th place. But now I feel me very good, and I win many meetings on grass this year, and I hope I can win the last meeting from this season also here in England.
It's quite fun. You got to make a living as well. It's different to Speedway, and it's challenging and a bit more speed. I do the long track as well, which is very similar, and you get up to speeds at 100 miles on the straight, which is quite a thrill.
There are some very good riders against you. It's going to be a tough battle today.
Yeah, this is very good if it has a good concurrence, good riders. And this make good meetings, you know, for the crowds and everything. And but I hope we can make a good public relation for grass track meetings.
It's going to be fast and furious.
It's certainly fast, hopefully not too furious.
A real clash of titans go to the line for this race, because the name on everyone's tongue, number 4, Karl Maier, 4 times world long track champion, lifted the title in 87 and 88, and 2 times world champion Hans Neilsen in the speedway world, number 12. Now Neilsen rides at Oxford when he's not competing in grass track, and he's not competing in the Danish league, but 2 times world champion Neilsen is against the established long track stars, and taking an early lead. It is indeed Neilsen going down, but Neilsen, Maier is right with him. So Hans Neilsen leads around the first turn. Karl Maier there in second place, number 4. So a closely fought first, second, third and fourth places, nothing between them as they got up the hill for the first time. Karl Maier looking at the inside of Hans Neilsen. Neilsen leaving a bit of a gap. Maier will seize the advantage if he possibly can, drifting wide at the end of the first lap. 3-lap board out. Neilsen leads, Maier in second. Number 24 there, Steve Baker, having his last ride on grass track and his last ride on 2 wheels. After this, he is retiring. He is there in third place, but no mistaking the leader. 2 laps to go, still Neilsen. Karl Maier right with him. Don't forget, 8 points, every race counts. 8 points for a win, 7 for a second. It's not good enough for Maier for a second. If he wants to lift the title, he's going to have to score maximums all through the day. In fourth place is number 33, Will James from Cornwall. And the Czech, Aleš Drmil, there is in 5th. 1 lap to go. Neilsen leading. Karl Maier still number 4 in second place. Down the bottom turn, this adverse camber, very slippery bend, exiting, approaching 70 miles an hour, accelerating up the hill to 80 as they throw it into the final turn. Neilsen staying very, very tight indeed, not leaving anywhere for Maier to go. That's how close it is as they go over the line. Neilsen gets the win, Maier in second, and number 24, Steve Baker, the Australian, a very good ride for him, came home in third for 6 points. And mistaking the winner, number 12, looking over his shoulder, Hans Neilsen from Denmark.
Yes, Denmark first, Germany second, and Australia third. But straight after that race, Hans Neilsen found that he was injured. Despite finishing in front, the Great Dane of Speedway hasn't found this Salisbury circuit to his liking.
Yeah, well, the trouble is the stones out there, they're flint stones, and although I was in front, not this, but some big stone went through my boot and caught my foot.
Actually went through your boot?
Yeah.
Caught your foot?
That's right.
And what's the damage? Is this the cut that you've got down
here?
here?
The cut, I don't know whether it needs stitches or not, but I'll go and see the ambulance man, and I'm going to have to pack it in, I'm afraid. I think
you're pulling out of the event?
Yeah, I'm afraid so, yeah, because I might be able to carry on with this, I don't know, but really this was from being in front. I would hate to happen where if you get one of these stones, they hit you from behind. I mean, I've heard of guys losing eyes and stuff because of stones, and I think it's just a little bit too dangerous.
Before the second round of racing gets underway, a visit to the pits. Hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of machinery. And for a detailed tour of a grass track bike, let's now call in Simon Wigg. Simon, yours is, I suppose, a typical grass track bike. Talk us through it, if you will, and tell us what the differences are between this and, for example, a speedway bike.
Well, obviously, a lot of people don't know what a speedway bike is to start with, but we've got here a single-cylinder, 4-valve engine. Produces about 70 brake horsepower, and it runs on methanol fuel, which is a wood alcohol, highly volatile, you know. And these produce about 70 brake horsepower, so they've got plenty of oomph in them for something as small as this. Starting at the front here, we've got the sort of bit primitive. We've got some rubber band suspension, but it does the job anyway. You know, just a little bit of bounce for the small bumps that you see. It only moves about 2 inches there, and then moving back down the bike. Carburetor's tucked away in here with the air filter and everything. Yep. And then we've got a semi-automatic 2-speed gearbox. You have it in first gear on the start line. You go from the start, and then about 50 metres out of the start, once you've got going, you then pull a little trigger on the handlebars, which you can go just second gear. And then you're just in 1 gear for the whole race then. So it's all go. Got a swinging footrest there. We have a long footrest on the right because we only go one way. Yes. So it's got to be set up just to turn left. That's got a swing in case you get your feet stuck under it. And here we've got the swinging arm here. We've got only a small amount of suspension again, maybe 2 or 3 inches at the most. But that's basically it. Nice big tyre, plenty of grip.
Right, and if somebody like me or any member of the public wanted to buy a bike like this, how much money are you talking about?
That's £3,000 to £3,500.
So not cheap, you've got to look after them.
That's right.
But it's all right for people like you with a good sponsor and a good manufacturer.
Well, that's right. It certainly helps things, you know, but it's very difficult when you're a kid trying to start. So I think we've all been through that stage, trying to get enough money to start off in the first place. But now I'm here and things are going well. It's great, yeah.
The solos and the sidecars will all have 4 qualifying races to establish the finalists. The crowd are awaiting the off in the second leg of racing, so let's join commentator Barry Nutley.
32, number 32 from Holland, Hielke de Graaf, known, would you believe, in his own country as the Black Hunter. All in black, very distinctive leathers. And number 25, Simon Wigg, Oxford Speedway, best qualifier in the World Speedway final. Simon Wigg performing brilliantly round this circuit today in distinctive green. So Wiggy the man to watch, very much in form today. Number 25, Simon Wigg. Alongside him, number 32, the Dutchman, Hielke de Graaf from Holland. 8 riders go, 8 points for first place, 7 for second, and so on down to the last place man. Nobody goes away empty-handed. A total prize fund for the Ace of Aces of £7,500, and £750 of the Sporto Trophy go to the overall winner of the Ace of Aces event. And nudging into an early lead, number 2, Trevor Banks alongside Simon Wigg, but it's Wiggy from Trevor Banks. Very, very close action around the bend. All 5 of them, some 15 yards only separating the top 5 as they got the hill for the first time. Simon Wigg leading, Trevor Banks fighting his machine round the top bend. Simon Wigg, lost the commentary point for the first time. Number 25, Simon Wigg. Former British champion. Lapped at 20.79 seconds in practice, Simon Wigg. Ace of Aces winner 1981, 1984. The Dutchman down there in 4th place at the moment. Wiggy leads. Number 2, Trevor Banks. In 3rd place, it's number 7, Clayton Williams, putting in another good ride. Former European grass track champion, twice winner of the best pairs, Clayton Williams, been riding grass track and speedway since he was 9 as a schoolboy. In 4 weeks' time, leaves the country to go down under in Australia. The last lap flag out for Simon Wigg. Simon Wigg sometimes rides as many as 6 times in as many days in the peak of the season between long track, grass track in Europe, speedway of course for Oxford, pulling a triumphant wheelie going into the top turn for the final time. The checkered flag is ready for him. Simon Wigg hurtling round the bend in scintillating style. Over the line, number 25. Trevor Banks is 2nd. Clayton Williams a good 3rd for him. A terrific win for Simon Wigg, number 25.
Yes, another maximum for Wigg. Surely he's now a firm favourite to win this title for the 3rd time. Banks. Meanwhile, let's meet 1 or 2 famous faces in the pits. Peter Collins, former World Speedway champion. What are you doing here at Grass Track?
Just having a nice day out, to be honest. A nice afternoon for it, and some very big names and a really good track. Very exciting meeting.
As a speedway man, what do you think of Grass Track?
Well, I actually started on the grass track many
you?
years ago, yeah, about 1970, and I've ridden grass track ever since until I actually retired last year.
John Davis, an interested spectator, complete with baby daughter Jade in your arms. How old is she?
She's 18 months now.
And does she enjoy grass track?
It's the first race meeting she's ever been to. She's never seen me race yet.
No, but
she's having a good time.
Doesn't mind all the noise and the excitement.
No, she loves it. She loves it.
Now, as a former grass track man yourself, why aren't you riding this time round, John?
I was racing speedway last night. We had our last meeting last night, and it's been a hectic season, and I haven't done any grass track at all this year, and I don't want to come to a meeting like this and not do as well as you should do. Otherwise, you make yourself look silly.
It's a terrific day out for a family, isn't it? I think everyone here would agree that it's something for everybody.
Well, that's right. I mean, it's very much like speedway, and as far as it's a family sport, and you know, all the families come, all the kids and parents, mothers and that, and they have a really good time.
Can you see it becoming even more popular? I mean, obviously there's a huge crowd here today.
Yes, I actually think so. I mean, certainly meetings of this standard attract a lot of attention, and there are lots of speedway fans come from all over the place to see this, and Oh, it's a good day out.
What do you think of the event this time? Because the Ace of Aces seems to be bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, it's getting bigger every year. I mean, Ian and Graham, they work really hard and they promote it properly and they put on a good show. And it's a shame some of the Speedway promoters can't sort of take a leaf out of their book sometimes.
Strong words from John Davis, and it's back now to the solo action.
A truly cosmopolitan lineup for race 3 of leg 2. Number 28, Roman Matusek, the wild man from Czechoslovakia who has a habit of throwing himself into the first turn and disrupting all the activity. Goes very well from the inside. And number 6, Neville Tatum, the younger brother of Kelvin Tatum. Both ride regularly in Coventry Speedway, also shows some British promise. We have riders from France, a rider from Germany, a rider from Switzerland. That's the way they line up. The start marshal moves away from the tape. The tapes go. It's a good start. They're all away and accelerating past the Coventry point and into a very, very good lead indeed. Marvin Cox takes the advantage. The white wheel disc reflecting in the sunlight here at Salisbury, but fighting round the outturn. It's the Czech. Bucking with his machine, the bumps throwing the rear wheel in the air. But it is indeed Marvin Cox still taking the lead. Into the second turn, Cox leads. Number 6 in second place, and that's Neville Tatum. So a good ride by young Tatum. 4 seasons on the continent this year, 4 seasons of Speedway, Neville Tatum. He rode in the Aces 2 years ago. Collected a very sharp flint in the eye in practice and could take no further part in the proceedings, but he's being pressed now by Will James from Cornwall, number 33. So Will James is there in third, but he's pushing young Neville Tatum. It's very, very close indeed, and there's a fourth man breathing right down their necks as they go up the hill. Away from us now, 1 lap to go. The yellow flag is out, yellow and black flag indicating there are 2 more turns before the win is taken, but Marvin Cox away in the lead. The battle is very much on for second place. Very much on for second place. It's not over yet by any means. That's how close it is. Number 33, Will James, breathing hard down the neck of the second place man. Cox is over the line. Neville Tatum holds on to second, but a good ride by Will James, number 33, to take third place. But a superb first. Marvin Cox, number 14, coasting round, turning off his fuel.
The Continental Challenge made to eat dirt again. There were 4 other nations represented there, but the Brits took 1, 2 and 3. Time for Karl Maier to show his mettle again. Here he is winning the World Long Track title in his native West Germany. And those distinctive light blue leathers took a second place in Maier's first outing.
Wieder also Sieger Karl Maier. Sein 5. Sieg, damit hat 35 Punkte, das Maximum dessen, was möglich ist, auf sein Konto gebracht.
And now we await leg 2 for the German ace.
Race 4, the final race of the solos in the second leg, brings a mixture of talent. Number 4, Karl Maier, of course, already well established. A brilliant performer here at Salisbury so far. Number 8, Alain Blondy, who has taken the place of one of the Finns, in fact, in this heat. Alain Blondy, the Frenchman, who finished second in the French Grass Track Championship, and would you believe his brother won that race. Hans Neilsen, the 2 times world champion, world speedway champion, has been forced to withdraw through injury. His place is taken by number 34, Grant Faulkner, as they streak away, and Maier it is, taking that early lead. Number 4, Karl Maier, establishing his supremacy from the word go, but not having it all his own way, because he's being pursued very, very hotly as they come to the second turn on the end of lap 1. 3 laps, of course, to go yet. Sitting there in second place, Roland Dano, the Bellevue Speedway rider, the Swede Roland Dano, giving Karl Maier a hard time, so Dano not giving up by any means. Second in the Swedish Speedway Championship this year. That event, of course, was run by Per Jonsson, the Reading racer. 7th in the World Long Track Dano. So this man won, Karl Maier won the World Long Track final. Roland Dano was 7th. And sitting there in third place, number 17 is Chris Morton, the Bellevue racer. And number 11 in fourth, Frank Kahlenbeck from Germany. So 1 lap to go as they come out of this final turn. The last lap flag is out. Karl Maier taking the last lap flag. And look at the gap. 50, 60 yards. There's a good battle on for second, because Roland Dano Dano now locked in a real battle for second, has left the door wide open and through on the inside. And also there, Martin Hagen in the frame. But this is the battle, coming round now towards the last lap flag. The also winning flag, number 17 and number 9. So number 17 there, who got second place, was indeed Chris Morton. A brilliant turn of speed by Chris Morton to pinch second from Roland Dano in the dying laps of that race. But the winner, number 4, Karl Maier from West Germany.
So a fairly comfortable win for Maier. He's the only foreign rider to squeeze onto the leaderboard. The rest are all homegrown. But it's the smooth-running British solo aces that are the story of leg 2. Simon Wigg, 2 wins out of 2.
You can sort of draw too much into that. You know, the heats really, everybody's just sort of loosening up. The finals when it really counts. And, you know, it's nice just to get a couple of wins under your belt, feel the track and get into it. And, you know, I just hope I can keep it up to the end of the day.
Marvin Cox, also 2 victories under his belt.
I've made 2 electric starts, which helps in the conditions today, you know, with the sprints and the mud and that out there today. So you've got to make a good start to get in front and give it to everyone else.
And Steve Schofield too, last year's winner, maximum points.
Yeah, I don't suppose I could really wish for any more, you know, 2 races and 2 wins, you know, but it's a long way from over yet, so just got to keep at it.
What's it like out there? There's a few flints flying around, aren't there?
Yeah, there are a few stones, you know, so it's a big shame that the club has spent a fortune on preparing the track and getting the stones out. I don't know if you've heard the story, and that venue was running all sorts of trouble with the watering yesterday, and they've only had to move here quickly, and we've had to quickly grab a venue that's, you know, that's got a bit of stones, unfortunately, you know, but it's not too bad, you know, if you can get in front. Then
you're out of trouble in front, aren't you?
That's right. Someone just said to me, you know, it's the same for everybody, but it isn't, I can assure you of that.
One thing we've noticed, of course, is the distinctive rear wheel. You've got this solid white rear wheel, which looks, is that a trademark? That looks very impressive.
Well, yeah, it is a little bit of a trademark. These are my sponsors, BRM, which is the whole complete bike, which is Bruce and Roger Maynard. So being white with a black letter, and it stands out pretty good, and there's not many boys here with this sort of colour bike, so it seems to stand out a bit more than just blues and red glitter.
And when you get a good style like you've done, it stands out even more. Well done, let's hope it keeps going.
Okay.
Number 2, Trevor Banks' results do not reflect his ability. We were expecting much more of Trevor Banks. He's there on 10 points at the moment, and this is his opportunity to do something about it and pick up a maximum. Also riding well, number 6, Neville Tatum, that younger brother of Kelvin, has got 9 points to his credit, and will want to be increasing that. They go very, very quickly. It's an even start. All 8 riders streak away past the commentary point. And Trevor Banks was looking sharp as he came down past the commentary point into the first turn. The riders very, very closely bunched together. Nothing between the first 4. There's a really close tussle for second and third. Side by side, just shows how much these riders depend on each other. Number 22 there in second place, Ermolenko, Sam Ermolenko from California, USA, and Wolverhampton, captain of Wolves, rides regularly for the Midland Space team, fighting off a duel for Trevor Banks. Trevor Banks there in second, Ermolenko forced down to third. 2 laps to go, but number 6 it is. Neville Tatum winning this one. Trevor Banks in second, Sam Ermolenko in third. And Hilke de Graaf Holland, the Black Hunter, as he's known affectionately by his countrymen, in 4th place. But a good ride by young Tatum, younger brother of Kelvin, retired from the last meeting at the Aces because his stone was injured. Guy was injured with the stone. 1 lap to go. Neville Tatum looks to have sewn this one up. 10 machine lengths out in front now, Neville Tatum. And yet there's a challenge, a last bend challenge coming. And Tatum's left the door wide open, and side by side they go into the turn. That's how close it is. It's Trevor Banks challenging. Trevor Banks indeed. Coming almost neck and neck, Neville Tatum and Banks, but Tatum got it by a whisker. Banks was second, Ermolenko came home in third. Tatum heaved a sigh of relief, but what a challenge. A stirring last-ditch stand by Trevor Banks, number 2, to take second place. But Tatum took the win.
Yes, confirmation of that result. Tatum first, Trevor Banks, fine race, giving him second place, and third from the USA, Sam Ermolenko. Now their third race in this third leg.
The pride of Sweden goes in this one. 99 Roland Dano second place in the Swedish Speedway Championship. It's also minus Hans Neilsen, the Danish two-times world champion, who's retired with an injured foot from one of the razor-sharp flints that are a feature of this Salisbury circuit. But as the riders streak up the hill in hot competition, coming round to complete the first lap, there's a tremendous tussle going on for the lead. And in first place it's number 23, number 9 with him. So the leader, Randy Green for the USA. In second place, Roland Dano from Sweden. So Green fighting off a determined challenge. He was over the handlebars almost. Dano's gone through. So Randy Green, a machine failure, has dropped him. So Roland Dano now is having a battle. He's not having it as all his own way. It's very, very close indeed. Dano holding on narrowly, but number 24 there with him. That's Steve Baker. Steve Baker, the Australian, having his last ride on grass track before retiring down under to work in the family business. Earth movers are what they do. Earth movers are what he's doing in a smaller version today. Third place is held by Andy Smith, number 3, the Bellevue Speedway rider who qualified for the overseas final, lives in Manchester, won the Welsh Bonanza, 22 years of age, sitting there in third, not having an easy time of it. The last lap flag is out. He's lost that third place to number 28. So number 28 now in third place. The flying Czech, Roman Matusek, on his Jawa, has moved up to third, pushed Andy Smith down into fourth place. But the leader, coming out of the final turn to get the checkered flag, number 9, Roland Dano takes the win. And in second place, it was Steve Baker.
A rare 1-2-3 for foreign riders in the solos. Roland Dano leading the way, Aussie Steve Baker second, and the Czech Roman Matusek in third. It could have been the first success in the event for the American, but Randy Green developed engine problems while leading and ended up pointless.
As we move into the fourth leg of this competition, the pressure is really building, and two key men actually come to the line for this race. Numbers 14 and 1, and that's Marvin Cox and Steve Schofield respectively, and only 1 point separate them at this stage of the competition. So a nail-biting prospect for us in this, the first race of leg 4. And interestingly enough, in the 10-year history of this competition, it has never been won by anyone other than an Englishman, and the partisan crowd are anxious to see it stay in British hands. Of course, Simon Wigg's on a maximum, Schofield's on a maximum, Marvin Cox is only 1 point down, and he is a very fast gator indeed, and they are side by side into the first turn. Schofield it is, Marvin Cox down there in second, but looking as though he was losing it for third, but battling back and up to second now. Marvin Cox through into second. That distinctive white wheel disc, he's on the inside, Schofield's being pushed wide. This really is a stinger. Tremendous battle. Schofield has been pushed wide. In fact, Schofield has retired. Schofield is looking down at his machine. His chances have gone. Steve Schofield drift wide out of the reckoning and out of the overall running for the 1988 Ace of Aces. And the lead in this race is now safely in the hands of number 7, and that's Clayton Williams, who fell heavily in a previous race. But Clayton Williams, number 7, looking good and winning this one. Marvin Cox safely there in second. Number 24 in third is Steve Baker from Australia. So what disaster for Steve Schofield. Schofield, ridden brilliantly for a maximum so far in the competition, has gone out with apparently mechanical problems. Looked down, there's 1 lap to go. He can only sit and watch in utter disbelief. Disconsolate Steve Schofield cannot believe his ill fortune. The last lap flag is now out well and truly. Schofield is getting it, but he's not in the reckoning. The checkered flag now ready for number 7, Clayton Williams. Clayton Williams from Dimmock in Gloucestershire takes a well-earned win and a good second place for number 14, Marvin Cox, who collects 7 points. That does him no harm at all, takes him on to second place in the competition. But a good win by Clayton Williams, number 7.
Yes, Clayton Williams has only been on the fringe of the leading pack until now. He's making a last-ditch effort to reach the top 10. His task, of course, made easier by Steve Schofield's demise, with a close-run thing until he pulled wide on the top bend, obviously with mechanical problems. And he'd won all 3 of his previous races. happened there?
The footrest broke on the...
A broken footrest?
Yeah, and I couldn't sort of put any weight on the... Just broke straight off.
Can you fix it?
We're going to try, yeah. Hopefully.
It's a bit of a job though, isn't it, to get that fixed quickly?
Yeah, we'll have to use the old one off the other bike.
Disappointing, isn't it? Because so far, touch wood, everything's gone all right.
Yeah, let's hope it don't go for the worst from now on.
Yeah, I mean, what happens if you can't fix it? Is it going to stop you?
Nah.
You just got to cope and compensate.
That's right. No, we got the other one off the other bike, so it should be okay.
Yeah, just a minor headache, really.
Certainly one of the most popular characters here is the American Sam Ermolenko, a speedway star in his own right, but a novice at grass track.
Yeah, very much so. I made a commitment early this year, or late last year I should say, to give it a go this year and to do long track as well. And I did the Ace of Aces last year after coming back from injury. It was the only meeting I did last year after injury. And I really just rode it just to see what it's all about. And this year I had 2 bikes equipped and went out for the long track final. Made the long track final, my first attempt, and came 12th. Didn't do so good in the final, but I'm here today. I didn't really fancy my chance of winning. Who knows what's going to happen today. But to get the experience is important to me for next year.
How different is it to riding speedway?
Oh, so much different. I mean, I'm shaking, like really shaking, nervous, and the stomach, everything's going every which way right now because I'm not sure what to expect out there. I'm just trying to make a good start, stay consistent on the line. I made a mistake that last time, and I got pushed around a bit, so I know how tough some of these guys are out there. And for me, is just to be safe, have a good result if possible, and to learn something.
And also, of course, you're coping with the problem of racing downhill, and you've got a big wide track and plenty of room to go off maybe if something goes wrong.
Right, I got here a bit late today, so I missed the original practice, and I only had time to do it before they did their lap trials there. And going downhill really was odd to me, because when I was going in, I meant to roll the throttle off to cut to the inside of the track, and it kept pushing me out.
Yeah.
So last time I went down the inside during the race, went down the inside, and made the corner a bit, you know, and had to turn. But it was easier than it was in practice.
You say you're shaking, but are you enjoying it?
Oh, yeah, I enjoy an all-day event like this. Normally when we're racing Speedway, we get there an hour before the meeting. We do 5, 6 heats, and we go home, and it takes about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So this all-day event with the people, and luckily the sunshine shining, it's great. You can tell by the crowd. I mean, it's unbelievable how many people are here, and the enthusiasm seems good. I noticed a lot of fans appreciating the battle I had for second place, and that alone will keep me coming back.
Terrific, Sam. We wish you well and hope the rest of the day goes well for you.
Thank you.
And let's now see Sam in action.
An interesting level of talent come to the line for the third race. Sam Ermolenko, the Californian who rides for Wolves, number 22, has turned in a good ride, sitting on 16 points so far. And young Peter Lloyd riding number 10. Peter Lloyd, who works in the family welding business when he's not riding grass track or speedway, has ridden for Milton Keynes and has ridden for Oxford this year, comes from Coventry, rides the cross-frame Godden engine grass machine. Sudden Sam Ermolenko, number 22, called Sudden Sam because of the way he comes through from the back very, very quickly indeed. Quite near to the camera there, Will James from Cornwall as well. But Sam Ermolenko, the American who threw the spanner in the Danish works in the recent World Speedway final, could so easily have made it an American victory, but it didn't go his way. It went indeed to the Danes, but Sam is good. Sam Ermolenko is very fast indeed. Experience gets him out of the gate quickly. Easy going, dark, good-looking American. Has a good following among the young ladies in the two-wheel sport. At the end of the first lap, as they come round, it is indeed Sam Ermolenko in the lead. Number 9, Roland Dano for Sweden in second. So Ermolenko arrived at the meeting late, had to squeeze in a late practice session, slept on his shirt tail, was unable to get here in time to do the official practice. But nevertheless, it doesn't impair his ability. He's well in the lead, 10 machine lengths in the lead. Roland Dano in second place. In third place, it's Andy Smith from Manchester. So Andy Smith going well. Diminutive Andy Smith going very, very well indeed. Now the last lap flag, and Ermolenko some 15-20 machine lengths, and a rough calculation tells us that if Ermolenko does one more lap and gets the win. The 8 points might just be enough to get him through to the grand final, and I'm quite sure he's done his maths as well. That's exactly what he's going for, and he's looking very polished indeed now. Up goes the front wheel, a triumphant wheelie from Sutton Sam. One more turn to go, powers it out, 60 miles an hour, driving hard on opposite lock, and there goes the wheelie again. Over the line he goes to collect the maximum. So Sutton Sam, number 22, took the win. Number 9, Roland Dano it was, who came home in second place. And a good third for number 3, Andy Smith from Manchester.
America first, and that put Sam Ermolenko safely into the grand final. Roland Dano from Sweden has also made it, but Andy Smith looks out of the running. But it's a serious business for the apprentice mechanics. Well, now to our feature race. It's Wigg against Maier and Morton, the last qualifier.
Number 17, Chris Morton, sitting on 20 points. Number 4, Karl Maier from West Germany, also on 20 points. But number 25, Simon Wigg, the Oxford Speedway rider, is on an unblemished maximum, has sailed to 24, and is looking at this stage in the proceedings as though he might just take the Ace of Aces title for the 3rd time. He really has hit form today. Martin Hagen also goes in this number 20, so a real wealth of talent, an awful lot of experience, some good English lads, and a sprinkling of top continental flavouring from number 4, Maier, and he gated brilliantly. He anticipated that. He was so sharp, but Wiggy it is. Wiggy went straight across the bows of Karl Maier, took almost the front out of his hand and said, thank you very much, this one is gonna be mine. And they are neck and neck. Maier, look at that. Just look at that. Wigg and Karl Maier leaning on each other. Maier around the outside, Wigg taking him out, but Karl Maier still it is, just a fraction in front as they come down past the commentary point. Simon Wigg had the edge as they came up the hill, but Karl Maier did it the hard way. He went all the way around the outside. And he's leaving the door open for Wiggy. Wiggy's got his head down. His bike looks a little bit slower than Karl Maier's. He closes up going into the turns, nipped across the peg there on the inside of the track. Maier looking at the inside line, 2 laps to go. This is a fire. This really is close. Karl Maier drifting wide. Simon Wigg there hasn't given up at all. Maier almost thrown over the handlebars. He found a bump there, and that lost him a split second, and Wiggy was quick to take advantage. And he's on the inside, Simon Wigg, and powering hard. But Maier leaning down, getting the back end out. The last lap flag being waved up, and now they're on their last lap. Martin Hagen's in 3rd place. Oh, but superb action from these two. The excitement from the crowd, they're waving their programs. They sense a home victory, but Karl Maier is going for 8 points. Wigg is going to get the 7. The checkered flag is out. Number 4, Karl Maier from West Germany. 4 times world long track champion takes the win. Simon Wigg comes home in 2nd. Martin Hagen, number 20, in 3rd. That was a race that had everybody on their feet, jumping and waving and cheering ecstatically, because it was a tremendous victory by Karl Maier, but a brilliant fight for 2nd from Simon Wigg.
A great race to end the qualifying stages, and that leaves us with this top 10. The leading 5 are Wigg, Cox, Maier, Schofield and Dano, while also earning a place in the final are Banks, Morton, Hagen, Ermolenko and the Australian Steve Baker. Well, if that last race was anything to go by, it promises to be a cracking final, with Maier so nearly losing touch with his bike, but he still won.
Things are going well for you. It's been good so far. I'm not so happy. I had a little problems with my bikes. Yeah. One engine is finished now, and my 3rd race was it. Yeah. Now I have my reserved engine. But I can win, it was okay, but yes. It was a very hard match, you know, with Simon.
How was that race? Didn't quite go according to plan?
Oh, no, not really, you know, but Karl's a good rider, and I think with a day like today, I mean, if you don't make the start, you really got to know what the opposition's going to do, and it probably didn't hurt at all, you know, being out following round for 4 laps. Yeah.
Next week, nobody will be happy to follow the leader around for 4 laps. So who's your money on? Steve Schofield? He won his first 3 races, of course, before that mishap in leg 4. Or the German master of the long track world, Karl Maier, unhappy with his bike, but possibly running into form. Or Simon Wigg. Maier proved too good for him in leg 4, but he too has won 3 races. And And if there's a dark horse, perhaps it's the American Sam Ermolenko, who started to master the rather English art of grass track racing. It's taken 16 qualifying races to produce the finalists in the solo event. 32 riders from 11 countries started out, and now we're left with the top 10. Straight on with the solos final. Will the German ace Karl Maier become the first overseas rider to win here? Or will the Brits, led by the ever-popular Steve Schofield, defend the country's top grass track title? The grand final then over to Barry.
The top 10 riders come to the line for this, the grand final. And the critics were saying of number 25, Simon Wigg, that he hasn't really hit form all season. A win was well overdue, and he certainly has given the crowd something to shout about throughout this Ace of Aces competition. An amazing performance by Simon Wigg, coming into the final on 31 points. And number 14, Marvin Cox, also a tremendous effort for him on his BRM, GM engine BRM, Oxford Speedway regular. He's on 30 points, but of course at this stage now, the points don't count. It's all about who wins this race, and a ding-dong battle it's going to be, with 10 of the world's best grass track racers, a sprinkling of speedway stars in there. Karl Maier, number 4, the German long track champion, could well have kept something up his sleeve. But the race is going to be between, in my opinion, Maier, number 4, 25, Simon Wigg, and it could easily be won from the gate. Wigg has to get the gate just as he did in his last heat and get across the bows. The Tates have gone. They're all away. And Trevor Banks, number 2, into a good position, but round the outside of him it's 25, Simon Wigg. Trevor Banks, Wiggy in front. Englishman first and second. Simon Wigg, dragster style, laying along his machine up the hill for the first time. The sun almost gone here now, the shadows lengthening. Number 25, Simon Wigg on his way. Trevor Banks there with him. Karl Maier's in 3rd place. So the West German, the world long track champion, is down in 3rd place, but fighting hard, coming alongside Trevor Banks. Very, very close indeed. Simon Wigg still in the lead, and there's a flying finish with 2 laps to go. A flying challenge coming from number 17, Chris Morton. Chris Morton delivering the goods with the red helmet in 2nd place. Chris Morton for Bellevue. One of the older competitors in this race, but a very, very experienced speedway and grass track star. Finished in 3rd place in the World Long Track final, Morton. 1 lap to go, and it's going to be between these two. Can Simon Wigg stave off the challenge from Chris Morton? He's making him go the long way round. He knows Morton's experienced, and Morton has come across in front of him. He's really got the power on. Wigg is having to settle for 2nd at this moment in time, and Chris Morton is looking all the way, number 17, as though he's going to lift the 1988 Ace of Aces Solo Championship, clenched fist in the air. A superb ride, 5th on the first lap, fought his way round. No denying the talent of Chris Morton. Number 17, absolutely delighted with that. A good ride by Simon Wigg, bitterly disappointed, but what a tremendous win by the Bellevue regular. 3rd in the World Long Track final, and now at the end of the 1988 season, the 1988 Ace of Aces Solo Championship for Chris Morton. On his lap of honour, acknowledging the applause of the ecstatic crowd here at Salisbury. Chris Morton deserves every little bit of appreciation he gets, because he earned that victory. People say of this sport, of speedway and grass track, that people do not come from the back. Chris Morton has proved the critics wrong well and truly there. He rode that race from the back. Trevor Banks set the pace, number 2 in the early stages. Simon Wigg, number 25, fought through, and I honestly thought that the race was Wigg's, but Chris Morton had other ideas. Stunning victory. Cruising in now. Chris Morton, 30 years of age. Regular World Speedway finalist, regular point scorer for the Bellevue team. The red helmet.
In 3rd place, number 2, Trevor Banks.
Crowd flocking across the circuit to the rostrum. 1, 2 and 3 will be the positions, and Chris Morton will have the privilege of climbing to the #1 spot, and he has earned that today.
A great climax to the Ace of Aces, probably the best race of the whole event. Third was Trevor Banks, second was Simon Wigg, and the winner, Chris Morton. Chris, well done. It's been a fantastic event for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's been total turnaround to last year. Last year I cleaned up all the heats and then made a right mess of the final.
Yeah.
This year I felt a little bit out of touch. You know, I didn't win a race. I wasn't making the starts. And I brought an engine over, especially from Germany, for this meeting, and was thinking whether I'd done the right thing, because I couldn't get it out at the start. Changed a few things right through the meeting. I kept changing them. And for the last race, I picked the start on the outside next to Simon Wigg. He had first choice. Thought maybe he knows what's going on. Yeah. And I planned to, because I knew I wouldn't get to the corner first, to go around the outside of them and try and miss the stones. Because once or twice I'd been going up the inside as I'd gone in the corner, and you just take so many stones. Yeah. that you get in trouble, you know. So that if I run around the outside, I'll be able to just keep going. And I come out of there third, and that was it.
It all worked for you, didn't it?
Yeah.
Simon, what about that for a final then? It wasn't a bad race, was it? Well, apart from the fact you didn't win it.
That's right. You know, I was pretty disappointed because it means a lot. You know, like I said earlier, such a prestigious event to win, and really thought I'd got it in the bag. But after 2 laps, I was exhausted. I just couldn't hold on anymore. And Mort was there buzzing around me, and he got the legs on me.
He looked back once and he saw I was in third place. Then he looked again, and I was like in second place and just a few yards down, and I think just getting him worried.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's been a great day, and I think it's been a great advert for grass track. And you know, I think there's a lot of people going to see that really this whole sport's got superb potential.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really where the future lies. There's so many other things that are sort of up and down, and you know, grass track's going places. So I think today's been great for that.
And nice to keep an Englishman, if you like, still on the rostrum there, because so far no foreigners won this event yet.
No, that's right. That's obviously a good thing.
Keep the flag waving, eh?
Of course.
Obviously enjoyed it, and plans to celebrate now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I've built up to this meeting for quite a while. I don't do many grass track.
Yeah.
So if we come here and win it, it's been a great day.
And you might just come back next year now.
I think so, yeah.
I think you'll have to now, won't you? Anyway, a few beers tonight, I'm sure.
Certainly.
Well done, Chris. Congratulations. What do you do when you come second? Do you celebrate or console?
Well, the thing is, you know, you've got to let your hair down both ways, really. You've got to drown your sorrows or celebrate. So either way, we're going to have a good time.
I'm sure you are. Well done, Simon. Nice to talk to you. So, to the winners, the spoils. The sidecar champions, Steve Jewison and Dave Ward, after a memorable battle with their old rivals. And in the solos, Chris Morton, this year's ace of all the aces. We hope you've enjoyed our series. We leave you with our champions in action.